Welcome back, everybody. We have just gotten a 7.34b gameplay update only about a week after 7.34 came out. So today we're going to be giving you a meta update as a whole, reading over the patch notes, at least briefly to talk to you guys about the heroes I thought got buffed the most, heroes I thought got nerfed the most, and overall just keeping you up to date with what's going on in pubs right now. So first and foremost, only 2 items got changed in this entire patch. Glimmer Cape with a slight nerf, and Spirit Vessel, we talked about it when it came out. We were like, holy crap, that looks broken. And they've already made it so it's only 6 all stats instead of 12. For an item that already had such good utility, giving it 12 all stats just made it like a must-have on any universal hero in the game. So getting rid of that is no surprise. So before we jump into what exactly is happening in the meta, let's talk about the biggest buffs and biggest nerfs so far of 7.34b after what happened at 7.34. So first and foremost, we have a nerf to the assassin heroes in the carry role. We got PA and Ricky, who is actually being played in numerous different roles. First off, PA lost base agility, which is attack speed, armor, damage in the lane, and then her Phantom Strike also sustains less on creeps. I already felt that in one of my games, especially when you're like farming ancients with a Battle Fury. The sustain feels like you don't gain any HP now. So if you took damage from heroes ganking you and you lived, you no longer recover. It doesn't hurt you if you're just farming by yourself, but it definitely was palpable in regards to recovering HP. And then for Ricky, they gave him 12 agility last patch. They reduced his armor, they reduced his base damage, and now they've effectively said, okay, we gave him 12 agility, which synergizes with Tricks of the Trade, with his ult, but now we're also going to remove the attack speed. Also, if you guys didn't know, a lot of abilities like Smokescreen, these AoE spells, have lingering effects. They already removed the Shard of Slark having a lingering effect, and what that meant was when you walked out of the cloud, it used to silence you still for 0.5 extra seconds. So it kind of got confusing walking out of the cloud because you're like, am I actually out of the cloud? So sometimes you even accidentally walk back in because you're trying to like get out of the cloud. Either way, huge nerf, even though it doesn't seem like much, because quality of life for the opponent is much higher. So just like nerfs overall on Ricky's numbers, I think these 2 heroes are still going to be playable, especially Ricky, but their win rates are already down a couple percent. So we're definitely feeling that these changes are already bringing these heroes back down to earth. So in regards to completely gutted, you know, Sand King had his week. He was off meta for a year, and he was really strong, apparently a 57% win rate in the Immortal bracket, and now he's just garbage again. I mean, if you read these changes, most notably out of everything, we see that the level 15 talent Sandstorm Radius, which I can tell you as I did play some Sand King, that was an essential talent. That talent was so important. It was so good. And they just removed it. I think everyone knew this was coming. Next up is Invoker. He had a 59% win rate in my bracket. Pretty crazy. The biggest part we harped on was the cooldown reduction on items, and then also the fact that Ghost Walk was effectively a walking fountain. So no longer the case. It's still good in that regard, but it's like halved, which is very impactful. And also, it can't be used if you're getting hit by a DOT like Quap Dagger or something, just to save yourself, to effectively give yourself health regen. So it's much more of a, I just ganked, I want to go to the next lane, sustain back up, but it's not like an instant regen rune, and you also can't use it to escape. So pretty nice nerfs there. I think he's still going to be good, but especially with the nerf to Spirit Vessel, I think these things add up a pretty solid amount. I would expect his win rate over the next week to drop like 4 or 5%, which would still be high. It'd still be like 54%, but still not nearly as strong as he was before. And last but not least, hero we've been seeing Reddit clips of nonstop is Witch Doctor. Laning stage, int gain, and then his Death Ward, 100 less attack range, and significantly longer cooldowns in the early levels. So basically, they made Death Ward pure damage, and they're now like, oops. Pure damage is pretty good. So they got rid of that. So heroes that I thought got most significantly buffed in this B patch were Marcy, first and foremost. She just straight up gained 1 strike per Fury on her ult. It makes her ags technically worse because the uptime on her silence is less, but I think this is fine for support and core Marcy. So I'm not exactly sure where the new sidekick comes into play. I want to give the PSA that if you're 5 position or 4 position Marcy and you have a ranged hero with you in lane, can you just level 1 sidekick and tell the guy to click them? I have been a ranged hero 3 times now with a Marcy, and they just take their other 2 spells, and I'm like, why? Why? So, Marcy. core and support. Next up is Lina. I think this hero was already good in 7.34. I've been seeing a lot of the Lina spammers. There's a few of them on the EU server that are like Grandmaster tier Linas. I've already seen them be picking Lina, and I think we're going to see her more and more. The burn damage is 10, 20, 30, 40 on Dragon Slave, so at each level you're getting 10, 20, 30, 40 damage extra. And so your Dragon Slave now does 420 blazed damage. That is a lot of damage with no spell amp or anything from your shard. So it just feels like Lina's spell casting is just back. And the damage over time cannot be underestimated because it also like cancels blink daggers and salves and urns and just various things that damage over time is good against. And they removed very little of the actual damage component in order to give it this damage over time. And last but not least, I'm really excited to play some Bristleback. Giving him strength gain on a hero that double dips on his HP with Bristleback, and then also giving him mana regen in lane, something he's really needed. I mean, it's mana regen for the rest of the game, but 0.15 mana regen, people, that's 9 mana per minute. That's 1 quill extra at 4 minutes into the game. 3.5 minutes into the game. Now that I say it out loud, it doesn't sound that great, but I promise you, on Bristleback, when they gave him this 0.25 initially, it was really nice. And you're gonna feel it if you play Bristleback. I'm gonna be trying him a little bit off lane, as well as carry. To get down to the nitty gritty of the meta right now, it feels like even though PA, Invoker, and Riki all got nerfed, it was still a lot of assassin heroes. We even saw like Monkey King get buffed in this patch. We even had like Night Stalker who had to get nerfed, his shard only. I just see heroes that hunt you down and kill you. When we scroll down through all the heroes that got nerfed, we also include Sloradar, right? That's a hero that's just running people down and killing them. Earth Spirit even got nerfed. So what we've basically been seeing in 7.34b is non-stop hunting. I've felt it in my games. The only heroes that are really good, like in the carry role, are ones that can either stand their ground, like Gyrocopter, still very strong. He's rocking like a 54% win rate in Immortal, and he did not get touched. Or heroes that man-fight, like Troll Warlord, Sven, heroes that just want to get up in your face, either be the initiator themselves, or they don't mind like buying a Satanic and turning fights. I think this meta pretty much leaves no room for any of the ranged guys. I'm wondering if Luna is any good because of the shard. I've tried her a few times. I think she's a good hero, especially with this Eclipse buff, but I feel like it's really hard to play ranged heroes that aren't Gyro right now. Because even though Gyro is a ranged hero, he buys Ag Satanic and he stands his ground, so he does fit the meta really well. So I want you guys to keep in mind that 4-position heroes are hunters. I've seen a lot of 5-position heroes be either teamfight utility or heals or save. And then I've seen carries be these stand your ground, don't let people mess with you kind of heroes, potentially having a stun like a Sven or a Faceless Void. And then mid laners are much more about like just constant mobility around the map. I mean, it's kind of been like that for mid lane for like 10 patches now, but I think that that's still the case. And then for off lane, we're seeing a lot of like tanky teamfight heal people like Necro, like Dawnbreaker. We're still seeing some of the summons heroes, but overall, I feel like the hunting's coming from the 4 and the 2, and then the off laner's more of like a lane pusher, teamfight disabler. So I hope you guys enjoyed this brief meta update on 7.34b and overall 7.34 as a patch. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll keep you guys posted on anything and everything that I do be seeing. See you guys next time.